It's Rob from One Strange Journey. I got some tips for you today about how to survive in the RV during the winter, during some freezing cold. I'm a lot of breath. I'm up here in North Montana. This is our first Montana winter, so let me share with you what I've learned.
You always set the thermostat on your electric heater a little lower than your gas heater. See, these gas heaters, they have ductwork underneath in the underbelly, and that's what keeps your pipes from freezing up. If you do have an electric heater, like I have an electric fireplace in our RV, if that one is keeping you warm, the underbelly could freeze up because the gas heater won't kick on. I know it's tempting. A lot of these RV parks, we have free electricity, so you think free heat. But when those pipes freeze up and your wife starts yelling at you, it's not very free no more. If you do have space heaters, try to place them far away from your thermostats because it'll heat the air up in that one area and turn the thermostat off to the rest of the RV. So real important to kind of evenly space them out. Get them away from those thermostats.
Snowing like this, run off your onboard water and disconnect the hoses at night. I've got mine disconnected. You want to make sure all your valves are shut, completely disconnected, because it'll freeze. It'll freeze all the way up those hoses straight into here, and that could cause some damage. It'll cause your hose to burst. So make sure you disconnect and turn your hose spigot off.
You're going to want to run off your internal freshwater tank and just turn your pump on and use that. You know, a lot of these RVs, they run ductwork through the insides that actually keep the underbelly somewhat warm. Right here is all the valves. This is where the water connects up and everything. And right underneath here is my water tank. Excuse the mess. But you can see, there's all your piping. You know, all your water piping, all your fresh water. There's the pump. And look what's right beside all of it. At least in mine, and probably in most of yours too, is all the furnace hoses, all the duct work. That just radiates heat in here. Keeps everything nice and warm, so it's real important. Run off the internal water. Just turn your pump on when you're in freezing temps.
Skirting, it's very important if you're going to be RVing in the winter like this. We're a little late to the game. It just blew right through fall straight into winter, quicker than I was expecting. So I have a material coming up to do my skirting. I'm going to use a Reflectix like this and go along the bottom with it. The main thing you're trying to do is stop the air from going underneath the RV and robbing you of all your warm air inside. So we'll see how that works. But very, very important. Really help out. You got your tanks down here, you got your water tank, your gray tank, and it'll help those from freezing also.
Watching KYD, he talked about how he had a bright idea of putting a septic line underneath the RV to keep it from freezing. You know, it was inside the skirting, but then his whole RV ended up smelling like pee. So it sounded like a good idea to me too until he said that. So we're gonna keep it outside, and like I said, just open this valve up when you're dumping and then shut it right away. Keep it from freezing because it'd be a terrible idea if it froze full like that. There is some thermometers you can get, especially on Amazon. I got a link to a great one that I just bought. I've already tested it and it's working flawlessly. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put these little sensors in the underbelly. I have two different sections of the underbelly. I'm gonna put one in each section and then one underneath the RV, so I'll know what their temperature is underneath the RV, what their temperature is outside, see if there's a difference, see if the skirting's doing its job it's supposed to, and then I'll be able to see what's going on in the underbelly too, see if the insulation is doing its job and keeping it nice and warm. All right, another tip is when you're in the winter and you're at risk for freezing, always keep an eye on what your overnight temps are going to be. Sometimes it gets nice and mild during the day, 40s, 50s, but it could get down into the 20s or even lower overnight. So keep an eye on what those temps are so you know if you got to disconnect your water from the city water.
Get gloves for the winter. I should have done that. I think I'm going back today to get some gloves. Let's see how cold they are. "32 degrees.
Another tip is to insulate your windows. That Reflectix stuff works very well. Just cut out the shape of your window, I'm going to experiment with some magnets so I can have easy on, easy off, put them aside, use them again next year. But insulate your windows. You got to think that glass gets really cold and it's not going to keep the heat in very well. If you're fortunate enough to have double pane windows, you're in a better spot, but it still doesn't hurt. Put that Reflectix up, cut it out the shape of those windows, and that'll make a huge difference inside. Another tip is having a dehumidifier. I don't know if you've ever gone in and out of an air-conditioned vehicle during the summer or in the winter and your glasses get all fogged up, or same with the camera equipment, it gets all fogged up. That difference in temperature will cause a lot of condensation. So the dehumidifiers really help in the wintertime because we don't want mold growing inside there. It can create a lot of issues. Propane is going to be a big issue during the wintertime. These little propane tanks we use for our barbecue is what most of us have. I have 3 of them. That's all I have right now. I've got to call in with the local propane company. I'm hoping to get a bigger one to rent, 100-pounder or bigger, because you're going to use a lot of propane up. So I would still keep a couple of little barbecue ones on hand just in case something happens, because you can always go and exchange those at all sorts of stores, dollar stores, grocery stores, gas stations. So it's nice to have those in a pinch. But check into the propane company, see if you can rent a larger tank. Then you're not making all these trips. You just call them up every couple weeks or once a month to come fill that tank back up, and you get a bulk discount. So you'll save money on that. Have vent covers over your vents on the roof so you can open up those vents. If you have snow on the roof, you're not going to be able to open up your vent. You want vent covers over the top of them so you can circulate that air, get some of that moisture out.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.